So, Alana, let me ask you, what are you having for dinner tonight?
Oh, goodness. Well, I made an apple crisp from the apples that we have out of Cameo and Mutsu, and I hope that my parents cook the rest of that. So.
There you go. And Ian, what are you having for dinner tonight?
I'll probably make a salad and some sort of vegetable stir-fry.
Well, actually, having been at the market, I prepared some Italian dish at home with some grilled sausage and penne pasta and tomato sauce, which we made from the tomatoes of our own garden. We try to eat really local, and that starts at home first.
I don't know. I haven't decided. We might stop at Five Guys on the way back.
I know we've always grown up saying that you have to have at least 3 or 4 servings of fresh fruit and vegetables a day, and I think 90% of Americans probably don't have that. I definitely noticed a difference in how my body reacts whenever I have processed food versus the fresh fruit. I mean, this winter I was working at a different job unrelated to the farm, and I was really lagging because everything I was eating was processed. And when I came back to the farm, I just felt much more refreshed. Lighter, in a sense.
Fresh food is very important. Not only are you helping yourself by getting, more nutrition and better flavors and knowing where it's coming from, you're also helping out the local farmers who work really hard to try to make a good product for everyone to enjoy, and they don't always get the opportunity to bring it out there.
Well, I think we're in such a rush in our society that we forget what real food tastes like. And when you start to connect with the taste again, then suddenly the quality makes a difference. And when the quality makes a difference, then the sourcing makes a difference. And then the whole picture starts to fall together.
And there's this attraction to local, organically grown food because, there's the idea of knowledge of where what you're eating is coming from. And I think people value that now.
I mean, you really have to question where you're going, and farmers markets are really important because you can directly ask that person in front of you, where is this coming from, know where it's from, and if you even want to, visit the farm. However, when you go into, even stores like Wegmans or Whole Foods, they'll say local, but they never actually can tell you where that's coming from. So you have to understand, who's accountable and if there's any transparency in the movement, and that's why you go to a farmer's market.
First time, give it a try and see if the flavor doesn't convince you, and also the shelf life.
Any fruit can actually be preserved in a way and keep it in your freezer for months. And people don't realize that. They think they're looking at something that's like here for maybe a month and a half, and they're like, oh man, I can't eat this in the next couple of days, it's done. You just cut it up, you put some lemon juice on it, you freeze it, and it's good to go, or you make sauce. Put up jars of preserves, like something that Americans did for, years and years and years, and we just don't think about it now. So it's definitely ways for them to take something that you might look at and think, oh, shelf life of what, 2 weeks max? And here you have it months, years later.
There is a cost difference. I'm not going to deny that.
Well, price is a concern, and I appreciate that everybody's budget starts differently. One of the great advantages of buying local is that you haven't lost the transportation time of storage that often happens at the grocery store. To have that meat looking really nice in the store, it may be already 7 to 9 days old. They may have had to pump something into it to retain the color, and so there's a reason it's cheaper.
I think the supermarket is a very convenient option, which I understand in modern society that can be an easy opt-out, but I think if people actually took the time to set out time to go to the farmer's market and just walk around and talk to the people that are selling these things and really start to understand about the food they're eating, I think they'll really appreciate the option of eating locally a little bit more.
The best value is local. It's fresher, the shelf life's longer, and the taste is better. Of course, you have to be concerned not everybody has access. We talk about food deserts. How accessible is the food to someone who has to take 5 different buses and then go to a store that has nothing but canned goods? Certainly that's what we talk about sort of as a food desert. But also remember, in the Midwest, while they grow acres and acres of corn, they drive 50 to 80 miles to a supermarket. So that corn growing there isn't something that goes on their table. So part of it is reconnecting, and much of the work in sustainable agriculture is developing food hubs, sourcing the networks, so hopefully they'll have it at their libraries or some other public facilities.
And I think that's a problem that people that are really passionate about promoting local food and everything really need to sort of address. Try to promote the idea of spreading local food being presented in.
More than that, we're seeing year-round markets. We're seeing farmers create delivery services, emails, way to connect back to the farmers year-round. But the other technology is being able to order and deliver. You can send an email and actually order and have it brought to you or picked up at the market. It's a big plus.
And I know there's the option of CSA where they have deliveries and pickups, but I know that can be a little bit hard for some people sometimes.
Well, sure. We've grown up in a society that doesn't really cook. We heat and eat because we're in a hurry, and we love convenience foods that you can throw in the microwave and eat.
Media nowadays, you can kind of see how fast food is kind of, showing all of its bad traits, absolutely, and especially with health concerns that are.
Obesity is a problem in America. People like me just want to choose the fast, easy option.
There's a lot more to food than just, there's cooking that has to go into it, and there's a lot of thought that has to go into preparation of food. Well, if I knew them personally, I would try to cook them something.
I think it's best to start with something really simple. Making a soup with cooking down a roast and making stock. Again, I try to give people recipes that only have about 5 ingredients so you can start. And the internet's made this wonderfully easy for people to search recipes at all levels. Very complicated braising and adding to something as simple as just frying in a pan with some olive oil and some good herbs. So again, seek out your skill level online. I'm sure there will be recipes, and the other nice thing is that many of these recipes people have commented or scored, so you can do them with a little confidence that somebody else has tried them first and found out whether they were easy, and more importantly, did they taste good? Because that's why we cook.
Just start asking questions from anyone, and generally you get the craziest information. You never know where you're going to get it. Go to your local farmer. Go to a store that has maybe a mom and pop feel to it, and start asking questions. Go to your grandparents. I was lucky. I grew up on a farm, surrounded by farmers. You learn the traditional way of life, but talk to the older generations, people who during World War II had rations, and they had to have things put away in order to survive. If you want to start your own garden, it's an entirely new ball game. You can control what you're doing. You can try organic and generally have better success.
Yeah, I think, gardens come in different shapes and sizes. So, you just, if you want to grow maybe a tomato, if you really like a certain vegetable, just try growing it. It doesn't have to be much. It could just be a few plants. And maybe a person, if they do that, they'll really be intrigued by doing that, and they'll taste the difference. And, it's something to do. It's just another hobby.
At home.
My favorite meal? I'm a simple cooker. I like making omelets and things like that, but I always throw a lot of peppers into it, a lot of tomatoes and other things.
What's your favorite meal to cook?
My favorite meal to cook is roast chicken, free-range chicken, that I've stuffed with celery, orange slices, and onions, and cooked it to it's really super tender and moist. If I basted it, maybe with an apple cider. And then baked corn, roast potatoes, and a bed of sea salt, and homemade bread.
You're making me hungry.
Just give it a try. Just like you would with any other food. Everybody has to eat.